Hey there, creepy peeps, and welcome to another stale movie review. Today, we are talking about The Midnight Meat Train. Alright, so I did tease this kind of in my new movie review for Downrange because this has the same director. I'm sure I have, obviously, as I'm filming this, I haven't seen any of the comments on my Downrange video yet, but I'm sure most of you guys guessed it correctly. This was requested of me by one of my creepy patron peeps, Scuba Steve. So thank you for the suggestion, Steve, and thank you to all my other creepy patron peeps for your support of my channel. If you want to find out the perks to being a creepy patron peep, you can follow that link in the description. So I butchered the director's name for my Monday video, and I'm gonna butcher it again. Directed by Ryuhei Kitamura and starring Bradley Cooper, Leslie Bibb, and Vinnie Jones. Midnight Mean follows Leon, who is a photographer struggling to make his big break. Leon's girlfriend Maya contacts her friend Jurgis, who introduces Leon to a successful art gallery owner. The gallery owner tells Leon he needs to take grittier, realer photos to make it big. Emboldened by her critique, Leon starts to find better and more dangerous subjects to take photos of. Soon, Leon becomes obsessed with a man who works at a butchery by day and is a serial killer by night. So Midnight Meat Train is actually based on a short story from Clive Barker of the same name. It's included in volume 1 of Clive Barker's collection of stories called Books of Blood. And while I haven't read the short story, I did read like a little plot summary of it after I watched this movie, and it looks like the short story is much more straightforward than the movie. It's essentially character of Leon waking up in the train, finding the carnage, and then basically everything that happens at the end of the movie minus Maya. And I can tell just right off the bat that the movie did add a whole lot more to the plot than what was in this short story. That being said, let's get into what I liked about The Midnight Meat Train. What I liked. I thought the additions to the plot were okay. Again, I can't judge too much because I haven't read the short story. I'm just judging based on what the plot summary of the short story was. Sorry, I will spoil some stuff about the movie, so just be forewarned. I feel like they keep just as much mystery about the creatures. I feel like they withhold some of the stuff about them ruling New York. Like when I was reading the short story summary, they're talking about how like the conductor is explaining to Leon, like he does at the end of the movie, like what his role as the butcher is and things like that. But when I read the short story summary, there's like all this talk about like the conductor explaining that the creatures that Mahogany was feeding with the corpses like rule New York City. It's kind of like an underground sort of thing. I feel like the movie did not touch on that at all, and I kind of like that. I like that they kept some ambiguity to the creatures and made them a little scarier, and kind of like conspiracy theory-esque, you know, like I liked that. I thought that was a good like addition, or I guess takeaway from the short story. I like that they took that part out. I also like the way the film unfolded, obviously because they added in so much backstory with the characters that you don't have in the short story. I feel like the film unfolds pretty effectively, especially with the character of Mahogany, who is the butcher that Leon is following. Because at first, obviously, it looks like he's just a serial killer that gets on the late train in the subway and kills anybody who happens to be on that train. But then of course, like as the twists happen, you find out like that the conductor of the train is in on it, and then you find out like, you know, you see Mahogany with like the weird markings on his chest and things like that. So it's like, I feel like it unfolds pretty effectively. Like you think the movie is going one way and then it takes a couple of turns, so that's exciting. And of course we have to talk about the kills. I mean, it's called Midnight Meat Train, so you know this is gonna be like a slice them and dice them gory kind of movie. The kills were pretty cool, and you know, as you would imagine, there's definitely a lot of parts where characters are like, or victims are flailing around in giant puddles of blood, which is awesome. Now let's move on to what I didn't like about Midnight Meat Train. I didn't like about to be honest, I didn't think Maya's character needed to be there at all. There were so many things I wanted to know about Leon and Mahogany, and like what, you know, his deal was and what was going on like behind the scenes with like the creatures and stuff. There was so much I wanted to know about that, but so much of the movie's time was wasted on Maya trying to figure everything out, which was so annoying. Like, just take her out and have Leon figure it out. Like, there's so much going on. Like, once Leon kind of becomes obsessed with Mahogany, he starts to change. Like, he gets more violent. You know, he just, like, people are commenting that he looks sick, and like, he gets more violent, and like I said, and he begins craving meat. Like, there's like the whole thing with him being a vegan. It's like stuff that they don't ever, like, beyond that, they don't explain anymore. Like, why does that change happen to him just because he's following Mahogany? It doesn't make any sense. The movie never explains it because, again, I feel like we're just wasting time with Maya when they could have been showing us why that was the thing that happened. Plus, you got the stuff with like Mahogany. He has like these like lesions or weird things on his chest that he cuts off and saves in jars. Like, what the fuck was going on with that? Again, something that doesn't get explained, probably because we're spending too much time with Maya. I don't know why we're spending so much time with her trying to figure everything out. Stuff that we already knew, to be honest, when we could have been explaining stuff that does not get explained in the movie, and were way more interesting. And I feel like some of the scenes were a bit random and the acting was over the top at times. Particularly, there's like one scene where Leon is like trying to take pictures of Maya, like while she's undressing, and he's like crying, and it's a bit weird. And when Maya gets on the train and she sees all the dead bodies like hanging there on the meat hooks, and that was a bit over the top. Of course, the CGI, as this movie is 10 years old, the CGI has not aged well. Although, that said, you could get some extra fun out of the movie, like kind of poking fun at the bad CGI. So it's not too bad, but it definitely has not aged well. Meat Train worth it. So was the Midnight Meat Train worth it? I think it was, although I don't know that I would watch it over and over and over again, although it is on TV a lot. Like, this is one of those movies that I've always seen on the movie channel, like late at night, and just have never watched. So thank you, Steve, for requesting it so that I finally can have seen it. That being said, I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5. I just thought it was okay. On IMDb though, it has a 6.1 out of 10. On Rotten Tomatoes, it has a 70% critic score and a 72% critic score and a 50% audience score, and then a Letterboxd score of 2.7 out of 5. So yeah, I was able to watch this movie on Amazon, and it was via Shudder too as well. I think Shudder 2 as well. I think it was also via Shudder, so if you just have Shudder and you don't use Amazon, you can watch it that way as well. But I will leave an Amazon affiliate link in the description if you want to use that. There's no pressure to, but if you do, it does help out the channel a bit. So if you've seen the Midnight Meat Train, let me know in the comment section down below what you thought about it. Of course, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new here and become a creepy peep today. I post videos Monday through Friday. You can ring the notification bell down there as well to be notified whenever a video of mine goes live. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, stay strange. Bye.